Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and this is Tuesday, March the 19th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And you can see we kind of had this clear trend channel working down here today. You should have been able to find this off the lows if you couldn't find it off the highs. It was a little bit confusing until we made this swing right here, and if you drew that, and of course if you drag it down, you can see it fits perfect. But a lot of times when you can't find it, draw it off the low side, and you might have even drawn it there first, off of these lows. And you can kind of see that right there and right there. But even if you do it right there and drag it up, it's still, you find the same place. So, but I believe this to be the low side of the channel, and you can see we bounced off of it every time. So it's obviously holding prices. So this was our overall channel. There were some other steeper trends within that, and let me show you that. And notice I drew the lines up, and you know, a lot of times people are struggling to figure out when to go short again on the corrections, but if you draw the trend lines, they work the same way a lot of times. So notice we had this little trend working up, we broke it, and then we went up and made a new high, and then we sold off, and then you had a trend line working up here, we break it, we go up, make a new high, and we sell off. And now we got a trend line breaking up here, or working up here. We finally break it after we've gotten outside the channel. We go up and make a new high. And this is just a retest. Notice these just kind of triple bottom that we never, notice how we went through and we never tested it. We almost always come back. And there you can see that. Let me draw that a little longer across there so you can clearly see that. If you draw that across there, you can see that's, and really the closes were right about there, and you see that's exactly where we went to, and it sells off again, and then we got a break, and we're trying to make a retest. Actually, we got a break here, and now we got a couple legs up. Well, we come back and make the retest down here. It's after 3:30, so I don't know, but it's pretty obvious that we got this channel here, and the one question I did get, I got one note from somebody that says they had a horrible day today, that they struggled today, that it seemed harder for some reason. And if you didn't find the channel, it was harder. And even if you found the channel, notice there's not but one good chance to enter in here, two good chances. So there really weren't a lot of good trades off the channel. One of them is spectacular. The other, it's not bad, but you don't get any runners. So, but there's some other places in here to enter. I'm going to move this back up because this is where we would have started with it during the opening part of the day. And that trade, forget that trade right there. That's like at 6 o'clock, a little bit before 6 o'clock. So if you saw that, it was worth taking. So if you were trading at 6 o'clock and you saw that this morning, look, there's a failed break lower. And then there's second entry, nice place to enter long at the strong support. And when the market opened this morning, that's where I originally had my line. And you know, it's obvious this is a trading range. And look how we're trying to go higher, but we just can't get above it. And let's go ahead and start with our first trades. At this point, we're doing our range rules. There's a failed second entry long that reverses a trap right there. You go short. Easy scalp. You didn't get anything else out of it, though, unfortunately. Comes back up. And I made this circle because you could have entered either place here. This one's a little more risky. You're better to wait on the second entry. But we've already failed up here multiple times. You got a small doji, little small stop, probably worth taking. And if you entered there, you weren't able to scalp out without it pulling back. But notice if you kept your stop above there, you were fine. And but you definitely should have entered here. Look at this doji. It basically opens, trades up, and closes on its very low. That's a reversal type bar. You go short right there. And it hesitated a minute, but it took on out. Easy scalp, and then it pulls back. And you got this overlap right here. And because of all the doji, some of you might have hesitated to go short here, and I can understand why. But notice we ticked out higher first. We turned down. It was really worth risking. You've got to figure you're going to get another leg like this maybe, or you're at least going to test the previous low of the range, because we've tried to go higher and we can't. So now we're going to go test the lower parts. And you see we broke down and went straight down here and found support kind of down here, right where we had it before. We got through there. Actually, you probably should have moved this down to here by now, because there were your lowest closes and so forth. And you notice we got slightly below it. We pulled back and then we turned down. It's a breakout. It's a breakout pullback short. It's a second entry short. It's 2 legs back up to the EMA. A nice reversal bar. You actually could have gone short. I actually went short below that doji, but you were better off to wait on that one. Easy scalp. You didn't get a run or anything, because then you went into all this mess, and you don't want to be going in either direction on this. Just wait for a better setup. You may not have had the trend channel line yet either, but notice all that overlap. It's not a really good place to be entering. So there's no trade mark there, even though it's coming off that trend channel line, but you probably didn't have that at that point. But guess what? Even if you drew it off these lows here, you can see that kind of working down through there. Even if you didn't find it over here, you should have been drawing it over here to see if you could find it. And, even if you drew it, let's move this one back. Let's don't mess with that line. Let's say even if you drew this like so, and you drag it up, you still find this spot, and there, you got above it here, and you're better off to wait on it to pull back, and there it did. So there's a couple different ways you could have found that, but this is just not a really good setup, so I didn't mark it. What usually happens when you break out of congestion, notice we were in congestion here, we broke out, it snaps back. Then we go into congestion, and then we break out the low side, it snaps back, and we go back into congestion. Breaks out, it snaps back. It goes into this congestion, it snaps back, and then it turns down. And this is another breakout pullback short from this area right across here. Nice reversal bar, great setup, easy short, and you don't know that it's going to do this, but you should be thinking something, at least a leg similar to this one. And if you drag that over here, then you're looking for prices to at least come down right here. They want a whole lot lower than that, but that should have been your first target of, you're looking for prices to probably go at least to here, somewhere close. But you should definitely be thinking a second leg if we break lower after that big leg down. And you don't know that it's going to take off like this, but that's why you hold runners. But again, hopefully you understand why we didn't want to enter here. Even though it looks pretty good after the fact, at the point of time, it was not a very good setup. You didn't want to be, there's no long setup there either. And so but you don't want to go short yet. Again, this was a 2-legged pullback to the EMA. There's congestion. It's a failed breakout. It's kind of with the trend. It's a second entry short. And this line would have been up here at that point. Actually, you probably would have had it right there at that point. So, second entry short, breakout pullback short, 2-legged pullback to the EMA, big bearish reversal bar. Lots of reasons to enter right there anyway. So that's those trades. And there really wasn't another chance to enter until I drew this one in green. We're kind of working higher, but you kind of got this resistance across here. This is really a double top right here. Even though we ticked a few ticks higher, this is still kind of a double top, and we broke above it and we turned down. So I drew this one in green. There's 3 overlapping bars. It's not a really good setup, but the trend is down. You also had this trend line. Notice the break, the retest. So a couple of different reasons why you could have taken that trade if you saw it. So I marked it in green. And if you had taken it, any runners were safe, and you could have ridden this all the way down. But the best chance to get in was here. And again, this is a little 2-legged move back to the EMA, even though we went a little bit lower right there. It's also some congestion. It's a failed breakout, so a chance to get on with the trend. If you didn't go short right there, when this bar tried to go higher off the EMA and turn down, you could have gone short there. Um, and this is a breakout. Notice there's all these matching lows. We drag the line, and you can see it's a breakout pullback short. It's really kind of a repeat of this pattern right here. It's all it is. And remember what we talk about: when you see the pattern once, it'll probably repeat itself, and then you see it repeat itself, it'll probably end up in the same kind of situation. And just like this one took off, so did this one. And runners were safe on any of these three trades. So they were, excuse me, so they were all really good setups. And again, you don't know you're going to get runners like that, but that's why we hold them. And another reason I've marked this was in greens because we didn't quite get back up to the trend channel. So I was expecting prices to go a little higher right here, but by this time you got to take it, because then you got to figure we're coming back to test these lows again. And sure enough, not only we come back and test them, we make new lows, and then we get kind of a reversal pattern here. But you don't want to be going long down here. It's just not worth it. Even though there's some good setups, I don't recommend it. You're better off. And notice that there's a second entry short right here. I probably should have marked that one in green, because there's very few with trend. When you've got a trend that's trending down that strong, there's very few two-legged pullbacks to the EMA or second entry shorts that are going to fail. And this one would have worked. One leg pullback, first entry, second leg, then there's your next move down, second entry short. You had to be quick to catch that one, but notice, boom, it took off. And if you didn't get in on a stop, you know, put your limit order in there and hope it pops back and gets filled, and it would have in this case. And easy scalp, nothing more. It bounces right there, but then it comes back up, and guess what? First entry short, pull back, second entry short, and nice reversal bar. I actually went short below the doji, but if you didn't that one, you could have here. I tried to get short on a limit order, couldn't get filled up there. Nice place to go short right there. Easy scalp, no runners again, but easy scalp. And then by this time it's after 1 o'clock, and I was done, didn't mark anything else from that point of the day. You can see that, you know, you still would have been looking for shorts, and this is one of those deals where you kind of retest the trend line, and then we're working lower. But my guess is we're going to end up testing this low before we go any higher. We'll just have to see. We couldn't do it before the close of the day, but my guess is we probably will at some point. You can see we're trying to work our way back down here. So, but just remember, if you're having a hard time knowing when to go short again, try your little shorter term trend lines. They don't always work, and they don't always give a clue. This one right here, you see, it really gave no clue. It just turned down and took off. You know, no real clue on that one. But look at this one. You're following it up. You get the break, the new high, and then boom. And look at this one. You're following it up. You get a little break, a new high, and then boom. And you can see that quite often. So, again, it doesn't always work, but try it. And if it, you know, just to see, because if you notice it, and notice this channel here, break, new high, and then we start selling off. So if you can find it, it works. So look for it. But there's not much else really to talk about today. It's just, you know, let me show you this. Here's something else I can point out. You know, look how steep and pointed down these EMAs are. That's a good clue that the trend is down. It's down. And then look how pointed, it's almost pointed straight up. That's a clue now. Hey, we're trending up. You really got to be careful about going long here until after there's some kind of retest. But hopefully this was a very simple channel to find here. And really what we did was we had two legs down and we just kind of went into a trading range. And this is really your kind of your highs right across there, maybe right there. And then you come down to the low side and your lows. I'd probably call that your lows right there. You did go below it, but notice that it starts holding again. Whatever. It's still, you can kind of see that prices now are getting on both sides of the EMA, and it's, you know, it's kind of, really the trend was down till we made this reversal pattern right here, and hopefully you can see that. Notice that you made a double bottom. You got a higher low here, then a higher high, and then another higher low, and that's really kind of a reversal pattern. We could have easily come up here and turned back down, and you might have even gotten trapped short right there. If you did, as soon as it ended as a doji, that was your signal. Hey, I better exit this thing, because let me show you. Notice how that took off. Notice how that trade took off. Look at that reversal bar. It takes off. Look at that reverse bar. How it takes off. This one, it takes on off real quickly. When it doesn't take off, like right in here, and right in here, and even right in here, that's not a good sign. Even though this one kept working down, look how you'd been better off just to exit probably and wait. And here's another one. We had kind of a little two-legged correction, and it tries to go lower, and it doesn't. It gets stuck. That's not a good sign. Just exit and look for another trade. Take what it'll give, whatever it'll give you. If it's a tick or two, that's great. And you know, if it's getting out, sometimes you know, if you can get out at break even or with only a tick loss, take it, because it's better than letting it turn in around and go higher and take you out for, you know, a bigger stop. Because it, just as an example right here, let's just see what you would have lost. If your stop, you would have went short at 37.25, and even if you were only one top, that's 39. So that's 5 ticks. And if you went 2 ticks, then you would have lost 6 ticks right there. Well, that's, you know, that's $75. You don't want to lose $75 on per contract if you don't have to. So when you saw that doji, on the next bar, you could have gotten out with at least a tick and easily at break even probably. Well, I take that back. It didn't never go lower, so yeah, I think you still could have got a tick out of that. Let's see. Yeah, you could have got a tick out of that, and you definitely could have got out at break even. So, you know, just exit that trade, because look what happens when it ended that doji. It ends up going higher. It reverses. It turns into a kind of a breakout pullback long, so to speak. And it's not worth going long there, really, especially at these highs. It would have worked, but notice it ended as a doji there, and you would have had another chance to get out. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We're about 18 minutes in. There's not much more I can show you here. It's just a pretty strong downtrend through 1 o'clock, and you know, and I usually have done trading by noon or so. But I wanted to show you, go ahead and show you what I was seeing afterwards. It looks like we're going to try to make a retest. We'll have to see what this does, but it doesn't really matter now. The market's closed, and tomorrow will be a new day, and we'll look at something new tomorrow anyway. So I'm going to wrap it up. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.